So this is my choice speech, and I'm going to scan my audience. A rug importer who traveled from Maine by the name of Eugene Labar had lived in Mexico 6 years prior, became ill on a stretched-out bus ride from Mexico City, and showed up in Midtown on March 1st with a rash, a bad headache, and a fever. His sickness was misanalyzed as a drug reaction, Kaposi syndrome, which is known as AIDS, and a bronchial pneumonia right before he passed on March 10th at Willard Parker Hospital for infectious disease. A janitor who worked there got the rash a couple days down the road, and an Adolescents New York University infectious disease specialist named Sal Krugman was asked to take a look. It was right away claimed to be smallpox. A microscopic analysis decided that Labar had passed of the infection, even though his arms had shown 2 immunization scars, the newest one less than a year old. The smallpox was brought to the city from Labar, also executed Carmen Acosta. She was a 26-year-old expecting wife of Ismael Acosta, who was also a janitor. There was 9 other people who had become sick, which included a nun and a baby. Even though the smallpox outbreak was not very big, it made a very big impact on the people of New York. The city health commissioner said that 300,000 people were to be immunized. It is becoming more common that parents are not wanting to vaccinate their children nowadays because they are worried the vaccine contains toxins and will cause disease. They believe the side effects could be worse than the actual disease they are protecting their child from, or they just simply believe vaccines do not work, and requiring them goes against their rights and what they believe. There are different types of vaccinations and immunizations. Diphtheria, tetanus, and pertussis are bacterial viruses, and a blend immunization against all of them is mostly used. Diphtheria mostly infects the throat and airway, and it is deadly in almost 10% of all cases. Tetanus is not moved through people, but through spores of a virus living in dirt and animal intestinal tract. These viruses enter through wounds and open sores and release something that infects the nerves and could potentially cause stiffness of the muscles. Pertussis is a very serious disease of the respiratory tract. Measles, mumps, and rubella are all diseases that are caused from viruses. Measles is very contagious of adolescent children, even though there is a safe and effective immunization that is available. There are about 3/4 of 100,000 people dying per year because of measles, and most of that number are children under the age of 5. Mumps is an infection that happens when there is human-to-human contact or by droplet through the air. It can cause very painful swelling under the ears and on the sides of the face, headache, fever, as well as muscle aches. It could also cause adults and teenagers to become sterile. Rubella is not very common in children, but can infect early pregnancies and lead to 90% of cases to death of the fetus or congenital rubella syndrome, and that can result in birth defects of eyes, ears, heart, and brain. By tricking the body's immune system, vaccinations have the body thinking that the disease is invading. When the real virus infests, the immune system is prepared for critical feedback, and this way it keeps the disease away or makes it less serious. According to MotherJones.com, between 2006 and 2013, the percentage of pediatricians who had encountered a parent refusing a vaccine went from about 75% to 86%. The parents who are not vaccinating their children do not find any problem with putting another child's life in danger, but analysis say these vaccines will prevent around 322 million diseases in children born between 1994 and 2013. It is crucial to vaccinate vulnerable groups such as infants and the elderly because immunizing as many people as possible will make up the herd immunity, and it will minimize the infected population. When someone chooses to get immunized, they are protecting themselves as well as their community and people around them. This is called herd immunity or community immunity. The amount of ingredients used to make these vaccines are in safe doses when they are administered to children. Mothers who become vaccinated are shielding their unborn child from the diseases that could cause birth problems, and immunized communities can help eliminate viruses for future generations to come. Major medical organizations such as CDC, Food and Drug Administration Act, Institute of Medicine, American Medical Association, etc. say that vaccines are safe. When a vaccine is first invented and made, it takes years to become perfected. Once it is perfected, it must go through multiple tests. The vaccines are first tested on adults to make sure they are effective before they are tested on children. Like any other medicine or immunization, there will be side effects. These would be known as standard side effects, since they often happen about 5 to 10% of the time for most infections. A few of these immunizations can cause these side effects as often as 40%. The good thing, the reactions to these vaccinations are most often harmless in most situations and do not usually last long. These side effects include pain, redness, and swelling in the injection site, fever, crying, vomiting, diarrhea, poor appetite, sleepiness, headaches, body aches, pea-sized nodule at injection site that lasts for several weeks, and a rash all over the whole body or limited in one area. Whenever the term side effects is heard, they are considered negative and deadly, which is what scares the parents from getting their children vaccinated. It really comes down to the fact that those deadly side effects are very rare, and the reactions are more about the smaller side effects that could happen, and they are common in everyone. Some of these very rare side effects that parents are questioning are sudden infant death syndrome and autism. To properly answer this question, they would have to correlate the rate of SIDS in unvaccinated children to the rate of vaccinated children. There has been no connection between vaccinations and SIDS according to statistical analysis. The same situation goes with people believing their children could get autism as a result from vaccinations. There is not enough evidence to prove that this is true. Boosting the immune system can lessen vaccine side effects as well. A lot of vaccine side effects suggest the immune system is reacting negatively to the immunization, so making sure to have a healthy immune system is a way parents can lessen their children's risk of vaccine reaction. Some of these ways parents can increase the risk is breastfeed infants, minimize sugar and junk food, minimize other chemical exposures, probiotics, fruits and vegetables, and vitamins. Fearing for these future generations of children who will not be getting vaccinated and being at risk for illness and disease is something everyone should be worried about. If children are not getting vaccinated, it could cause another epidemic or worldwide outbreak causing deaths. Parents should know that vaccinations can save their children, and they should consider the pros and cons of not vaccinating. A solution would be to have them rule out all of the reasons they are scared to or do not want to, and seeing if that is really worth not doing it, for the safety of the child and the community and who the child is around. So I'm going to scan my audience one last time.